We hope. Good morning and welcome to Inside High School Sports. I'm your host, Tony Caligiuri. Yeah, I know, by the sound of it, you can tell I'm still under the weather. But I'm trying, Coach, I'm trying. I'm trying to get better, honest, I am. Well, guys, good morning. We have Roger Weiss, as always. We have Francis Boeck. We have Frank Wolf from Western New York Athletics. And a surprise visitor in town, all the way from Utica, Marquel Slaughter. Good morning, guys.
Morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, it's so good to hear his voice again. This is the only way I can hear is with the headphones on because I'm deaf and no voice. But other than that, have a nice day. Well, hopefully you guys have all done your Christmas shopping, wrapped your gifts. If you're out driving today, trying to finish up last-minute Christmas shopping, take your time. The roads aren't too bad. Niagara Falls Boulevard was passable. Nobody's skidding out or anything, but we do have some freezing rain coming down. Some of the roads are slick. Raj, how was it?
The main drags are okay. Be careful on the secondary roads. There's that real thin coat of freezing rain, ice. It's slick, so pump the brakes. Probably the first time driving is an adventure this season, other than the snow, which everybody's super careful. But in this type of weather, you know, the roads are black. What can be wrong with the roads? Look out.
Yeah, be extra careful today, especially if you're going out Christmas shopping. Hopefully Diana's not listening, Roger's wife, but Raj, I am impressed that you got her a garbage plate for Christmas and wrapped it up really nice. I thought that was a good touch.
Okay.
Nothing but the best, right?
Exactly, you know.
Frank, can you see him doing that?
Yes.
Sam,
No, she'll pick at what little she wants out of there, and I get the rest. You know, there's method in my man.
Strategy. That's what I like.
I don't know if the whole plate will make it back from Brockport, but
Probably not.
unless
All
you
right.
got to.
News and notes, guys.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of news and notes to get to.
Lay it on me, my friend.
Roger, what do you got?
Well, it's been a grand week in high school basketball this week. Thursday night especially, $3,000 to be exact. Serena Sordetto from Kenmore East and Rania Rump from Cheektowaga. Both them young ladies went over 1,000 points for their career. Bad news is in the case of both of them, it wasn't a losing cause, so they weren't able to pull out a win. But still, congratulations to Rania and Serena. Meanwhile, back at Depew High School, Chad Biersbach went over 1,000 points. He needed 31 points to do it in the opening game of the Depew tournament, and they needed most of them. I think they won by maybe 5 or 6, but he got most of them in the first 3 quarters, and then Depew had to hold on to win. After 3 quarters, they were up quite a bit. Also, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention earlier in the week, or maybe it was even last week and we neglected to mention it, Bo Sarica from St. Francis High School, the only returnee from that real good team a year ago, did go over 1,000 points, and he's leading a relatively young team. They're still doing very well despite all the loss of players from a year ago.
Francis, you have any news and notes?
No, I don't.
It was a good week for girls hockey. We have them next week in the studio. Today we
Right.
have Coach Prynn and Jagger from West Side East. But next week we'll have the girls on, and they just, you got to get out there and see a girls game. They play tremendous hockey. A lot of the games are at 4:30. Riverworks or Northtown Center. There's a lot of games at Northtown this year, but all the girls teams are playing pretty good. The Flop, as you know, Cash.
I love the names. That's my favorite part, to follow you and Bill Pavone, just to hear Cash, Flop,
Can't wait for that
Kenji.
cash flop game. I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm not sure if I'm following hockey or poker tournament. I mean.
Exactly. Hannah Barrett had a shutout yesterday, so I want to give her a shout out. She's playing tremendous in goal for Cash, giving them a legitimate shot to possibly have major success as the season plays out. I like
Cool.
the way that they've been playing. Francis, you've been all over the World Junior stuff so far, right?
Yeah, last night I saw two Sabres prospects, Ukko-Pekka Lundin from Finland. He was in goal for Finland, facing the Czech Republic against Budic from Czech Republic.
That's easy for him.
Yeah, I was just going to
I
say,
know.
easy for you
All
to
these
say.
Eastern Europeans. So, what? So they'll be
Derek
in
Cassis. Don't do this to me, guys.
I had the spelling right. That's all that counts.
Don't get me.
So,
You know, with them, you just say number 31 for Finland and number 22 for Scotland.
that's what it comes down to for the most part.
Oh my!
We'll be out there. We'll be out there all week. Francis is doing World Junior stuff.
Outstanding.
Going to the outdoor game and all that stuff. So.
I want to do a shout out to one of my coaching partners at Niagara Falls Junior Football, and that is assistant coach Joe Kinney. Rolled a 300 last night, so congratulations to Joe. Niagara Falls fireman, first responder, great guy, and now he joins our head coach Chuck Fink as rolling 300s. We probably have the highest bowling average of any coaching staff in any sport in all of Western New York. I need to get a hold of Ed Ventry to get my game kicked in so that I can compete with these guys.
Quick question: how many bowling balls does he bring to the Ellie's?
I don't know. It's in league play.
Oh,
And
I still can't get over these kids. 6, 7, 8, 9. What do they have? Equipment manager bring in?
meanwhile,
Amazing.
I just show up with my Fred Flintstone ball and
Bingo.
and just heave it down the alley. Well, congratulations, Joe. Job well done.
I wanted to point out, I had the news and notes. Shouts out to the Edinburgh women's basketball team. They're 9-0 before the break. They got 2 locals on the team. Jonte Walton, O'Hara grad, and you know I had to get a Cheektowaga kid in there. Sierra Ralston from Maryvale. I want to say they both graduated in 13. I want to say, but they're
Way back when, right?
They're way back
Way
when,
back.
earlier in the decade.
Were we
but
in
they're,
here?
but they're 9-0 in Edinburgh. They're both starting. They're both having amazing seasons. Doing really well over there.
John Tay, not only all Western New York, she was player of the year senior year.
No, she was just dominant, absolutely a dominant player. Are we ready to rock and roll, guys?
Yeah.
Frank, you invited West Seneca East hockey in. We have head coach Phil Prynn and Jagger Maving. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's Jagger.
Jagger, okay, I'm
Jagger's
sorry.
pretty cool, too.
I'm thinking of Jagger because you know where my vacation hat is at.
Where were you last night?
On my couch sick.
Well, you got to realize that he's used to saying Jagermeister, so you know that's why it came out that way.
No, that's all right, too.
Well, welcome to the program, guys. We're happy to have you in. Talking a little hockey this morning. And, Coach, my first question for you is concerning Fed hockey. Are there any changes since last season?
I think goalies have to strap their water bottles to the tops of the nets this year. That was the major rule change this year.
Is that a problem for
that's
the
actually
like
really
He's shaking his head.
As the rest had to take the water bottle away from me, I was getting upset.
Next year there's going to be some changes with rules and the way the game's going to be structured. Those changes we were hoping went into effect this year, but they'll actually go into effect next year. I think they're talking about going 17-minute periods and 2-minute penalties next year. But it has something that had to kind of be negotiated with the Referees Association, things like that. So those are the changes probably going to be coming down next year.
Is that something that the coaches or the schools vote on, or the federation just does that unilaterally?
You know, when we have our meetings with the coaches and the league, we discuss these things, and one of the things was the minute-and-a-half penalties are short, you know, and you really only got room for one power play unit to get most of your time, and it creates opportunities for more kids to play on the power play, more kids to play on the penalty kill, and that's what they're looking to do. And if you look downstate, right now everybody's at 15-minute periods, but some other sections do a Zamboni flood between each period instead of just between the second and the third. So we were looking to get, you know, something, if we add time and make it so there's more time for each period, then we could maybe structure it where there's a flood between each period. So you go in the locker room, have a true intermission each period, so you can really recap and go over what the period looked like to you guys, and provides that kind of an opportunity. Because whenever we go out of section, we play a team from downstate or upstate, I should say. It is nice getting a flood between each period.
Yeah, that's huge. You know,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
getting into that third period, and if you have overtime, especially for the goalies,
Right.
you know, they need all the help they get. I'm surprised they don't use shovels at least to go up and down, to help out these goalies a little bit, especially if you get into overtime. But that change in particular, along with the 2 minutes, does USA Hockey drive that at all, or is that completely up to the section?
That's New York State High School athletics. That's nothing to do with USA Hockey.
Didn't they also? Isn't that part of? I believe that's the National Federation rules. I think the state wanted to be on board with them so they get a seat at the table.
Right, that too. And then this year, I guess the only other thing we did change to align ourselves with the rest of the state is that in order to qualify for sectional play, you have to play in 6 games. We had a Section 6 rule where it had to be 10, but the rest of the state was always 6. This year they made it 6, so it's 6 across the board for any player that plays in 6 games or dresses in 6 games is eligible for postseason play. And we now do a running clock. If there's an 8-goal differential, there's a running clock until the differential is fewer than 8. That's new this year, but that is also what the rest of the state had been doing.
Quick question. I don't know if I'm out of line, Julia. How
You're always out of line.
more out of line than usual. Number one, do they have JVs in hockey?
It's run by club organizations, so it's not like sponsored by the school, but schools do have side organizations.
Can you call up a player?
That's why I was bringing that up when he said that the 6-game rule. What if someone's called up with only 5 games left in the season, then is he ineligible?
Correct. You'd have to dress in 6 games or play in 6 games. So if we were going to think about doing that, we'd have to look to do that with 6 games left in the season to get him eligible.
I do have to recognize the state champion in the room, Rich Sanders, head coach or assistant head coach at West Seneca West, has joined us to put a little pressure on West Seneca East. I'm sure that's why you got
No pressure at all, West Seneca East. No pressure.
But always a pleasure.
Can we get Rich on skates?
I used to rollerblade. I used to rollerblade a lot, but skates I tried. It's a different animal.
Yeah, we'll get you double runners, Rich.
They're doing the 11-day power play again next year, so I wanted to bring this up. They're looking for players, teams that would take like a 4-hour stretch. So maybe the Inside High School Sports will put a 4-hour team together. What do you think? Me, Raj? Come on, you? Marquel, come back?
Look at his face.
Okay, I'm 288 pounds. I don't know the way to the rest of you guys, but that's not going to work out.
I'm telling you right now.
He'll take out anybody in front of the net.
I ain't coming in front of the net with you there.
We'll cross-check, boom, it's over.
Rich and I will be tandem goaltenders. Between the 2 of us, they won't have room to put the puck through. And then you'll have to skate 4-on-5 on the other side of the rink.
Slap shot again, all over.
Listen,
Putting on the foil, coach. Putting on the foil.
I took my son to see the Boston Bruins this weekend, and I never sat so close to a game. We saw Chara, and I mean,
he's a giant.
You want to talk about making people look like midgets? Like him next to any of the Sabres was like, what is going on here? This is illegal.
He's only what, 6'7"?
6'9".
He's 6'9" without skates.
I remember his first game in Buffalo at the Odd. We were playing the Islanders, and Rob Ray went in to take him on with a big check, open ice, and Ray went flying. He couldn't even move him. Very next shift, Michael Pekka. Now, you know the difference in size between Pekka and Chara and even Ray. Pekka upends him. It was a thing of beauty. It doesn't really matter how big you are if you have the right position on a player, regardless of size.
Michael Pekka was one of the best open ice, pound-for-pound body checkers
Bingo.
in the NHL.
Thank you.
Like, that guy was unbelievable. He played the defensive forward position so well and so tough, and we've yet to see guys like him. We just don't see it in the league anymore.
Is checking something that you guys are able to work on technique-wise and instill in the proper way to get underneath somebody and lift them off their skates if you have to?
It's so much of the game now is played in the corners against the walls. We work on angling to get the play to the outside where our defensemen want it. We work on getting our sticks in lanes towards the middle but forcing the men outside. It's a thing where it's a low percentage shot. If somebody's going to cut across the middle and you're going to try to step right in front of them, you're going to probably miss 75% of the time. So
you got to be smart about it.
You got to be smart about it. You got to be really good about it. You can't lunge. You can't set your feet too early. You can't look at the puck. You got to look them in the chest. You got to have a good stick in the meantime. The big hit's the big hit. Everybody knows the big hit. But it's not something we really coach to go for the big hit, because a lot of times it just puts you out of position.
But is there something that the players want? Because they watch the highlights.
The players
just
want
the same way in
want
football. You want to be able to deliver that devastating hit.
Right.
So I'm sure the kids are seeing this coming in and like, I want to do this.
Yeah, that's their agenda. We try to. We know they're going to go for hits. They're going to try to hit guys. We try to coach the defensive positioning more, because that's what they need to do more often. but we know the hits are going to be there. And if there's an opportunity, they're going to try to make the hit. But if we don't emphasize the positioning, the angling, the team system, then we're just going to run around and be out of position most of the time. Because even if you lay the big hit, it's still a 50-50 puck after that. So unless you have guys in position to get that puck, it could be other team's puck still. And then all the hit did was make a loud noise and make the fans go, ooh.
I had teammates that's all they lived for was the hit.
Now I got a question. Like in football, hitting is a part of the physicality to wear down a team, and you want to, physically impose your dominance, and then by the fourth quarter that team is, shot, weak, or whatever. Is that the same thing in hockey? Like, what if you win a whole game without hitting, but you were in the right spot, so you were able to turn over the puck?
Hockey, it's more about puck possession nowadays. You can wear down a team just by having the puck. If they're the ones chasing you, trying to hit you all game long, they're going to wear themselves down. Now, that being said, if you make them play a 200-foot game and you get pucks deep in the corners, and when you're on offense, you have the puck and you cycle and you grind and you use the points, you get shots, you're able to retrieve that puck down low, send it back up top. The longer you have the puck, the more they're going to wear down. But then you can wear teams down by obviously playing physical down low and winning battles and things like that. But usually the team, and we see this, I don't want to rag too much on the Sabres, but we see them, they lead every game, they have more hits than the other team, but it's usually because the other team has the puck more. So it's kind of like that. What do you want? Do you want to just hit everybody, or do you want to have the puck and score?
You want to score goals.
Yeah.
Coach, obviously today's episode is, we're talking about boys fed hockey here, so at the beginning of the show, Tony, you want to know about the major changes.
Sure.
The two major ones, obviously going from 4 to 3 divisions, has to be one of the biggest changes because now there's so much more competition.
Yeah.
Especially in 2, where you guys are.
Yes.
But then you got 2 brand new teams. You got Star Point and St. Mary's of
I think
Lancaster.
Star Point was a club team. In fact, they won a championship a couple years ago.
Yeah, maybe even last year.
I think it was
St.
2 years
Mary's.
ago.
St.
They came in
Mary's?
second place last year, Star Point
Okay.
did. St. Mary's took a year off from Fed, but they're back this year.
Yeah, but they're 2 very good programs so far from what I've seen. They're off to very good starts, I think you would say. Star Point won their first game, and they beat Ken West. They beat Ken East so far. And so, I mean, they're off to a halfway decent start, I guess you would say.
Yeah, Star Point has a solid squad.
And St. Mary's as well.
We don't see St. Mary's on our schedule this year, but we played Star Point a couple nights ago, and we beat them 2-0. We have a very good goaltender help us out in that category, but they played us tough up in their building up there, and they're playing with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They know they're new. They know they want to come out and prove themselves, but they play a pretty solid game. They're scrappy. They did not go away on us. They fought us all the way to the very end. But they got a lot of young guys on their team. I assume that they could, if they build something here, they could be a very good team in a couple of years if they keep working.
Coach, real quick for both of you, the scheduling. Unlike basketball and football, there's not like set times. You can go at odd hours, Sundays, nights. What is that like to coach that? Does it throw you off as a player and a coach that you're those odd times?
I'm a father of a 1.5-year-old, and my wife is 8.5 months pregnant. So yeah, it's a tough schedule this time of the year.
To sleep.
Although I waved bye-bye to that long ago. No, it is a bit of a schedule, but what you do as a coach and as a teacher is you kind of build your schedule around this time of the year. So you know this is the busy time of the year, and you plan ahead, you prepare, you do all your homework, you plan your practices ahead of time, and you have a structure and an organization that kind of makes it flow. And so far, that's our thing. We know there's odd hours. We know when the buses leave. We know when the games go until, and it's tough. And we practice in the mornings before school. These boys are up real early every morning before the sun's even out. We're off the ice before the sun's even out. So it is a 3.5 month long stretch if you do it the right way. But if you're dedicated and your players are dedicated and you have good parents that help you out along the way, then the reward is phenomenal. But it is not an easy season. It's not a short season. It's not a quick season. It's a lot of work, but a lot of people care about hockey in this area, so it's really good to be a part of it.
No, it's definitely a hockey town, no
Yeah.
question about it. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have more with West Seneca East hockey and all other kinds of fun stuff on this Christmas weekend. You're listening to Inside High School Sports on WGR Sports Radio 550.